welcome back to Itchy Brains. Yep, that's right. Pragyan is not here with me, which is a good news. I think Pragyan is still following the girl that he wants to be together with. You know, he's probably engaged in something else, but that's not the point here. The last couple of days has been like the most social days that I've been in a while, especially during this COVID season. It feels like it has become a season now. Even seasons go away, but this thing hasn't gone away. But this week has been the most social week since the COVID. And it started with one of my cousins being fainted. He got fainted probably because he hadn't eaten the whole day, and then he played soccer with us. As he was walking back to his home, he fainted on his way back. And then I didn't get to know about it until 1.5 hours later. And then when I found out that he had fainted, we have to take him to the hospital. Well, first, an ambulance was called on him, and they checked. They did their thing. They at least woke the boy up to a certain degree. He was not fully conscious even at that point. And then the ambulance gave a choice of whether the ambulance could themselves take the boy with them, or the parents could take the boy in their own car. My cousin's parents decided that they would take the boy by themselves. So we rushed into the emergency room, and there were like, for one person that fainted, there were like 13 people sitting there in the lobby, and then the receptionist, they were pretty surprised, and I think to a point where we're being kind of loud. I mean, obviously, like, there were a good amount of people, so, and then with Nepali family, it's like, you know, like the talking goes a bit louder, especially when you have kids around, right? And then I think we started getting a bit loud, and then, well, first they were surprised that why would there be 13 people for just one little kid? And then the noise thing, and then they genuinely asked us to step outside, to sit outside, and then we were just sitting right out. The boy is recovered now. He's doing completely fine. Absolutely fine. And then I think the next day was tea celebration. We sat down. I played poker, in a long while. Poker is pretty fun, I'll tell you that. I was watching this Mark Calloway Undertaker documentary, and even Undertaker said that he likes playing poker a lot. So I guess, since Undertaker does it, there has to be some kind of element to poker that about why people like it so much. Yeah, I played poker. The first day I won like $8. Second day I lost all my money, and then today I chose not to play at all. Someone won $60, and then I was like, good for them, but I made a conscious choice of not playing it. It's so intimidating wanting to play poker, because it's like there is that thrill element to it, and then there is obviously money involved. Otherwise, the poker just flops. Without the money, it's like, it feels very hollow. But with money, it's super fun. I got to do that in the longest while. And there was a lot of gathering. We're not worried about Corona as much as we should have, because there were a lot of people involved. But yeah, that was pretty fun. Got to celebrate teas, and then it was a lot of food for the last 4 days. Some tasty, healthy food. Love that stuff. The last week was a banger. Okay, so today I do have a topic. It's about having an online presence. Me and Pragyan were deciding to talk about this, but then since Pragyan isn't here, I'll do the business myself. Who needs Pragyan anyways? I think we got to this term of online presence when we were thinking of making podcasts for ourselves. There was this question of, okay, why do we need to have an online presence? And I feel, okay, online presence is like a super duper important thing to have at this point. If everyone had an online presence, and I'll define online presence in a second, but if everyone, this is the thesis that I'm trying to convince all of you guys to have any sort of online presence out there, any sort, except Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and those kind of stuff. Well, there's a way around it, but if everyone had some form of online presence, I think people can get a peek inside what the market is going to look like. We're 10 to 20 years from now. And in a decade or so, everybody will get a taste, and everybody will know the internet better. So that's my thesis. I'll try to convince you guys to have some sort of online presence. And one of my friends encouraged me, like they had an indirect impact on me to think about this stuff, which I'll get to a bit later. So, okay, so this thing, online presence. So what do I mean by online presence? By online presence, I don't mean Instagram. I don't mean Facebook. Okay, that's like, you don't get points for that. You don't get points for having a Facebook or Instagram. Although, if you are involved with a social organization, and then if you're handling their Facebook with like a shitload of information every time you post, there you go. Okay, then you can have the bucket. Then you can have the points. But just like having an account on Instagram, that doesn't count. What I mean, like, solidly by online presence is either a YouTube channel, a blog post, or like a podcast. I think, like, YouTube, everybody has thought about, let's be honest here. I have thought about making a fucking YouTube channel for the longest while. I haven't done it because I don't have a camera, and I don't know how to work with Premiere Pro. The editing, I don't know how to edit. I'll just come up front. It's hard for me to know how to edit. And then even like the computer that I have is super crappy. But there are people who edit their videos on their phones, and so my excuse is like a really niche excuse, you know, like I shouldn't be making excuses. But I've thought about making a YouTube. I feel like everyone thinks about having a YouTube channel because YouTube is fucking fun. Like it's so much fun. Out on YouTube, you see people make banks on YouTube. You see people like grow like a shit ton of subscribers. I don't know how they do it. Talking about YouTube, I think BTS dropped a song, and I think they broke YouTube's record. They have like 150 million views in one day in one fucking song. How do people do it? Boy bands. How do they do it? BTS has such a mass following. I mean, anyways, my point is that boy bands have always been popular. But anyways, I've thought about making a YouTube channel. I think it's super fun, and it can be really informative. It can turn into anything one wants. Second, a blog post. I don't think many people think about having a blog post. I don't think blog post has flown around that much in people's head, but I like reading blogs. I really appreciate people who write blogs because I like reading articles and stuff, although it depends on my mood. I mean, YouTube is the easiest to get on, right? Blog post comes, I think, a bit harder. You know what? All the platforms are super informative, but blog post, it's written form. So what I'm talking about, if I talk about YouTube, that's like video form. If I talk about podcast, that's like audio form. And then if I'm talking about blog post, that's written form. And I think, again, reinforcing my thesis here, everybody should have at least one of these things. All right. So blog post, talking about blog post, I feel like YouTube misses, like, something that YouTube misses is fulfilled by podcast. Something that podcast is missing is fulfilled by written form or blog post. Now let's talk about the importance of having an online presence. I have an example. Okay, say you wanted to go out on a vacation, right? Anywhere, be it in Nepal, somewhere in Nepal, or somewhere in Singapore or something like that. Wouldn't you appreciate it if the place that you want to visit or the hotel that you wanted to check in at had a website? Doesn't that make the whole process a lot more easier? You can check their prices online. You can check their contact information online. You can check what the hotel looks like. Like a website basically tells you everything, or some sort of online presence tells you everything about the hotel. You appreciate that shit, even if you don't notice it. If I had to pick another example, okay, say I wanted to go to a restaurant, right? Let's call it Taj Mahal or something. That's the one that popped up. I wanted to go to Taj Mahal, and I don't know what the address is. I appreciate it when restaurants put their shit online, and then as soon as I type Taj Mahal near me, I can get direction to where Taj Mahal restaurant is, and then it just makes my life so much easier. And then again, taking this back to hotel thing, or whenever you want to go somewhere out of the country or in country, domestic travel or international travel. If a hotel doesn't have their presence online, if they don't have a website, nobody is getting traffic there. Like that hotel all of a sudden becomes really sketchy. If they don't, First of all, how are you going to find out about this hotel if they don't have an online presence? With talking to friends? If a hotel doesn't have an online presence, the hotel doesn't exist, basically. Or at least it's not getting enough traffic or enough people to make the margin they want to cover. If they want to get a bit like substantial margin, they have to have some sort of online presence. And similar with individual as well. Like when I give this example of a hotel having their online presence, I think what people mostly associate it with is that, oh yeah, they're businesses. They gotta have something online, otherwise people are not gonna find it. Absolutely true. But I think this holds true for an individual as well. And then yeah. And when I say an online presence, I don't mean that it has to be informative. It can be with anything one wants. This can be true for a teacher. This can be true for a college student. This can be true for a priest or something. They can make a video of them preaching and then upload it on YouTube, which is a bit weird. But I know, like, priests, like God and stuff, they have a big following on YouTube. I know that much. But yeah, like, it doesn't have to be defined by me what you want to make. And then once you have a thing established, most people have Instagram, right? Instagram falls short on a number of things. First, they don't define who an individual is. You can't tell what an individual is like by looking at their Instagram, although certain clues can be drawn. But say if a person has a YouTube channel or a blog post, that just helps people to know who you really are at the forefront. And the other thing that I can think of why people don't start an online presence, or why they're at least afraid of doing so, is the factor of, oh, what am I going to talk about? You know, like if I have a blog post, even if I have a YouTube channel, or even if I do podcasting, what am I going to talk about? It can be so generic. To answer that question, if someone goes like, oh, like I'm not that good to talk on the internet, you don't have to be good. I just want people to get started. So I think this idea is also talked on James Clear's book Atomic Habits, where he says that first, like, starting something is really hard, but once you have that system created, or once you have that blog post created, or once you have that YouTube channel created, once you have something, a material to work on, then you can improve. If you don't have the material itself, what are you going to improve on? Like, even if you look at this podcasting, I'm not fucking good at podcasting. Once someone has a material, having a material is the hardest part, right? Like starting out, like, or like one can even copy someone else. Like copying someone else is easier, at least. They can, like, if someone has watched like a video of Vsauce talking about something, they can make a blog post about it, type it down, and then publish it on the internet. And then, like, you're copying Vsauce, like whatever, like you're getting information from it, but at the same time you're adding your materials to it. And then it doesn't, like, I know that I lean most of the time towards information and that side of thing. No, it can be solely for comedy purposes. Or even if a person is a sketch artist, they can easily make a timestamp of them drawing or taking pictures of the drawing and then making a website and then posting it on YouTube, or if it's a picture, posting it on their blog post. There are like zillion things that one could do with having their online presence. And remember, there are 3 forms: videos, audio, only audio, although videos include audio as well most of the time. And then there is the written form. I think one of these forms are going to be the place for whatever you want to do. Like this thing, having an online presence really became apparent to me when I was talking to one of my friends on a call. And that friend is so fucking funny, dude. Like, he makes my stomach hurt. Every time I talk to him, makes my stomach hurt. And I don't talk to him on a regular basis, but every time he's on that call, the whole environment changes. Everything lights up. It's a Christmas. It's a miracle. Every time he said something, it's just so fucking funny. I can't stop laughing. And then as I was on a call with this person, even the face structure that he has, like, you know how comedians have that face where it's like, even if you look at their pictures, like, oh, that guy is funny. Like Kevin Hart. The instant one that I can think of is Kevin Hart. Even if you look at that guy's face, I don't know. There's something about his face that's just, like, it's so stupidly funny. It's silly. And then that's a good thing for a comedian, at least. And then even the friend of mine, I was on a call with him. There were other people as well. It was a group call. And as I was listening to him, cracking up, I just went, holy shit, I would totally pay this person to see him talk like that. I was like, yeah, I am ready to put money to listen to this guy talk. And that's like, oh my God, if this guy realizes that I am willing to pay, and if I'm willing to pay, I'm pretty sure there's a decent audience there that will be willing to pay if that guy really takes this thing seriously. And then if he realizes that he has that power, he has that fucking personality that people will come and pay for. And I'm not kidding here. And I know that like this thing doesn't go around on our friend group usually. You know, we don't compliment each other. Like nobody deserves compliment. Everybody deserves roasting and stuff. And we have not yet learned to compliment each other at each other's faces, but I mean, since it's podcasting, I'm not really seeing that guy. I can drop some names. I'm fine with that. What am I going to do with this thing? You know, like, am I going to take it with me as I die? No, gotta let it out. If he realized that I was willing to pay for him just talking, nothing really, just talking. Whenever that guy talks, it's a buster of jokes after jokes, cracks after cracks. It's so like it goes insane. If he realized that he had that power, if he realized that, oh, there is this person that's willing to pay me to see me talk, I think he can unlock this whole other world of, I don't know, a whole other world of income generation. And to myself, I thought, holy shit, that is so brilliant. If only this person realized that he had that power. Of course, he needs to work on materials. He needs to have a lot of jokes if he really wants to make a living out of it. But like I said, if I was not at all friends with this person, and if I saw him talk on YouTube or something, if he made like a funny video, not even anything edited, if he just like recorded, talked a shit lot, and then if you just posted that on YouTube, I would be like, holy shit, that person is funny. Like, he's so good with it. And then I was like, yeah, I mean, if people really got to know that this part of themselves, it would be so great. Although I need to tell my friend about this personally. I know that he's not going to listen to the podcast. But if he were to have some sort of online presence, he already has a customer. He already has a visitor. He already has a Patreon. He already has a loyal following right here. And I think the same thing can go with a lot of other friends as well, including my friends over in US, including the people I've met, including the people back in Nepal as well, including my sister. She's studying MBBS. If she had some kind of blog post talking about, you know, a bunch of weird shit that doctors do, or just talking about her day-to-day life and how many vaccines she distributed, or how many people she got to inject, I'll be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's something that she can have. And I think people will definitely find that interesting. Although it takes time to grow. No shit. Having a material is the hardest part. And once you have that part, improvement can be done on it. And then even if you don't have anything, you have your day-to-day experience that you can talk about. You can make your blog post or your YouTube video just a diary. Just your diary, talking about what you did during the day. Boom. And then after that, you can slowly work on to something that, you know, after a while, maybe you want to switch sides and then do this, do that. Boom. Everything is on your way. And another point that I have is the one that I really like, which is, I think if someone has some sort of online presence, I think they will feel pressure to be creative or to be on time. Let's not say creative, because if someone is being pressured to be creative, I think that diminishes their creativity, and then that just makes their work no fun. So if someone has some form of online presence, I think they have something that looks upon them, that asks them to be more punctual, to be more in time. What do I mean by that? I was talking about the same concept to some of my friends as well, one of whom likes drawings. And so I was like, hey, why don't you make, you know, some form of a YouTube video or something? And then if you have a YouTube channel And then once you have like a decent amount of following after you have that YouTube channel, after a while, if you don't post anything in 2 months, these people are going to encourage you to post something, because they're going to leave comments on your post, or even if you have a website, they can leave a comment there as well. And then so you know that there are people who appreciate your work, and then they need you. They need you to make some form of drawing. Although that could fall in pressure, that could fall to be some kind of pressure. I get that. But still, you have something to be looked over at, right? I mean, if I wanted to put it in another way, it would be like this. Writing essays. School are so good at making people write essays because they are the ones looking over these students that are writing essays, right? If I haven't had school in the last 3 months, I didn't write any fucking essays. I don't need to write any essays because no one is looking over me. And since I don't write essays, my writing skill has gone crap. That's for sure. But then as soon as there is a deadline on me, as soon as I go into colleges and stuff, and then as soon as I have this timestamp, something that is keeping track of how I'm progressing, that can really improve an individual in a short amount of time. And even if you're not good at it, taking the same example, if someone is drawing, right, and then they're posting it online and in any kind of form, although podcasting is not the best for drawings, I don't know how that would work, but either YouTube or blogs, even if someone is crap, if they start posting online and if people are watching over them and they're like, hey, yeah, you're doing pretty good, man, why don't you draw some more? If this person starts to post every week, one drawing every week, and then if they are doing this for, say, the past 2 years, and again, there are people who are encouraging them to do it. There is a timestamp. There is someone that is watching over them. There is motivation. There is encouragement given to them. Then in 2 years, they'll improve on that material for sure, because they've been doing this every week. And this also ties into communities that people can connect with. Say you're in a drawing business. Once you have that blog post or whatever that you have, it becomes much easier to find other people with similar interests out online, and then you can form a small community. You can have group discussions if there is a collab that you want to do, or just if you need some help. And then if there is an artist, he is better off, if he needs help, he's better off asking another artist in the same genre than asking a regular guy, which people have in their friend groups. And that is not really true. So once you have put yourself out online, I think you're most likely to find this community, and that can turn out to be really amazing because you're meeting with the people that have similar kind of interests, that, you know, like appreciate each other's work, and then that can really give you like real criticism, a proper feedback on what you're doing, because these people know your craft as much as you do. That's really good, because if I look at my own country, say Nepal or something, we don't really have art teachers. So really the only place to find content about art is either on YouTube, or you need to find another friend who has begun the journey before you, or who is more smarter than you on this field. And once you have that presence, any sort, and this doesn't have to be like just based on drawing, any sort, that really becomes helpful, because where there is lack of scope, there can be friends that can help you understand the stuff much better. And then, not to mention, I think there's also a benefit for everyone here. It's a plus all throughout. It's a plus for you who is making the content, because you're putting in the effort and you're knowing about your material, you're knowing about your craft. Even if you are putting out jokes, you have to know how jokes work. You have to know, even if you are putting out fiction stories, you have to know how stories work. Or even if you are making videos on anything, you have to know at least some bit of that craft. Or even if you are talking about your day, you have to know how your day is going. And then you have to be conscious of how your day is going, so that you can talk at the end of your day to this audience, right? So with anything, that's a plus for you, for sure. If you are doing anything online, that's plus for you, for sure. Also, it's plus for your audience. And then I'm pretty sure after a while, everybody will be able to build some form some sort of audience, for sure. Yeah, time is to be given. I think time definitely holds a lot of people back. And when I say audience, don't think of like 10,000 people or 20,000 people. Just be like, yeah, even if 5 people are interested in what you're doing, that's your audience. Great. 5 people. Hey, that's a lot of people watching over you. Like, that is good. That is a good place to start, or even less than that. And at the beginning, no one is going to have audience. That's for sure. So it's plus for you. Now it's also plus for an audience, or your subscribers, or your fans. Fans is a bit big word here, but your subscribers, yeah, that's I think better, because they get this information that you have collected, that you have worked on, and now you're putting it out, and then they get this like bit size, maybe like 5 or 6 pages on a craft that you have spent maybe hours doing. If you look at drawings, people take like 6-7 hours doing like a pretty good drawing, and then when someone visits that page, they're not spending the same amount of hours that someone has done crafting it. They're only there, they're like, yeah, 10 minutes, okay, detailing, yeah, pretty good. I don't know which part is the most to be appreciated for, but anyways, they'll be like, yeah, they'll maybe stay for 10-20 minutes, and then they will go, oh yeah, this is really good. They're not sitting there 6 or 7 hours. You have put in the work, and then they're benefiting, like they're saving time for themselves because you have done all the work for them. Again, it's a plus for them, and it's a plus for you. I definitely know that if my friends were putting out blog posts or YouTube videos, I would be their regular visitors for sure. I would appreciate their work, not only because they are my friends, but also because they have put out this information that maybe I don't want to spend as much time into. So they have really dug into this thing, and then they have put out this blog piece, and then like it's a benefit for me as well. It's a benefit for the one that is putting out the content as well, until they like what they're doing. Okay, the next thing is the feedback loop. Okay, so say you have spent this 6 hours into this drawing, and then if you don't have this online presence, who are you going to show it to? Your friends? You have to knock on their doors, each one of them, and be like, hey, I did this drawing here, take a look at it. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, you'll show it to your mom, and she'll be like, all right, okay, cool. Yeah, let me do the dishes now, get away from my face. But whenever you post it online, there is a good feedback loop associated with it. Even if you're not getting likes, you're getting the views, you're getting numbers. Like when you post something online, you can see how many people have seen it. And that is really rewarding. If we look at going to gym, right? One thing why people don't really like to hit the gym is because the feedback loop is so long. People expect to build their muscles 5 days after they hit the gym, but that doesn't work like that. You have to be hitting gym every day for at least a year or two to see a decent increments in your muscles. And the feedback loop is long. You're working today for the future. So it's like most people don't buy that narrative because of the length. But in terms of online, like everything is moving so quick, very quick. You'll get as soon as you post something online, you'll get a lot of traffic in, and then you get that there's a boost in your adrenaline that you're like, oh hey, these many people are visiting the website, cool. That feedback loop is not usually present in terms of healthy materials. And this is one of those places that we got lucky, where it's every time you put something online, the feedback loop is very short. And if someone is finding your work interesting, they'll even leave a comment, and that also becomes a boost in your confidence. That will help you get motivated if you're not already motivated to keep going forward. So there's the feedback loop. And last but not least, I think this is also one of my favorite ones. That's why I kept it for the last. Okay, say whenever we say online, it's usually we're talking in terms of virtual things, right? And then there's this narrative going on that virtual is not reality, and in reality things are different. I'm here to say otherwise. Okay, say you are a blog post writer, or say you are a photographer. You're putting this thing online, and you take a lot of pictures to have your craft ready, to have one piece of blog ready because you need like, I don't know, like 7 photos to be taken of different things to be able to publish this one page of blog post. So yeah, you need to be taking a lot of pictures, and after a while you get good at it. Now, the implication of this in real life is that, say if someone, and now at this point, you know, like after you're done this for a while, it's kind of fair to say that you know about photography more than anybody else does. Although even though if people criticize your work, you know that they don't know about photography as much as you do. So you're taking these pictures, you're getting the skills, posting it online, you're getting the feedback loop, people are joining your website or all of the above. You have a timestamp, you know, you need to be doing this every week or every month or so. Now, say you're walking down the street and then a stranger comes up to you and they're like, hey, would you mind taking a picture of us? And then you're like, yeah, sure. Now, when you take that one picture, because you have all these skills, even when you're taking the one picture, you're putting in all the skills that you have to take this one picture. And for the people that you're taking picture of, when they see what you have taken, I think that they will be surprised by how good the picture turns out to be, taken from a random stranger. Or if I talk about blog posts or just writing in general, right? If someone is writing a blog every day, think about how good their writing skill is going to be after 2 years, after 3 years. Say they're in college and they already have a blog post for 3 years. Of course, they're going to be so much better at writing, say essays, or in literature, or if they're a fiction writer in their blogs, fiction, like whatever they create. Of course, the virtual things are gonna bleed into real life. It's not like if you create an online presence, you're diminishing your, real life experiences. I think you're enhancing it. And then again, there is profit for you. There is profit for your audience, and then there is profit for everyone in between. I give the example of a stranger that you just met, and then you're a photographer. You take a picture. It's way better than most of the people that could have taken the picture, right? So it definitely bleeds into real life as well. So let me just recap on everything that I've said. First, have some sort of online presence. Second, I gave the example of hotels having their online presence, and we always appreciate it when businesses have their shit online. Even when you're buying products, it's like if it's on the website, it's like one click away and then it's shipped to your home. That's so much easier. You don't have to call them. You don't have to meet a dealer or whatever. It's so much easier. When someone Googles you, when someone Googles your name, they're most likely to find your work rather than your Instagram profile, which gives them a better picture of how you think or how you view this world or how you basically function, right? That may not be true if you're writing jokes. It's like, yeah, he's a funny person, like I think people get a good idea of who you are from your work than your Instagram profile is. That's what I meant to say. Next, a timestamp. Someone is there setting you time, and there are always people looking over you. This can be good, this can be bad, but I think there are more goods than bad. So I think it's I know that really helps me because when someone has a deadline, people are more, when there's risk involved, or when there is deadline involved, people are most likely to put their stuff out than when there isn't. And this also ties into Parkinson's law, which says that if someone gives you 2 days to write an essay, you'll take 2 days. If someone gives you 30 minutes to write an essay, you'll finish that essay in 30 minutes. And in both cases, you're at least finishing the essay, even if you're taking 2 days or even if you're taking 30 minutes. That's Parkinson's law. Third, you'll find a community of people that are interested in the same thing as you're interested in. Next, the feedback loop. I think this is the big one. We don't really get feedback loops this short in real life. The closest one I can think of is food. As soon as you put like a really good food in your mouth, a burger, pizza, you'll get the reward instantly. So the feedback is immediate. But other things, say building a good habit, say hitting the gym or forming meditation or that kind of stuff, the feedback loop is always kind of late. And that's why people fall short. But in this online presence things, the feedback loop is really short, and that keeps people going. And the last one, which I really like, is it's not only virtual, it definitely bleeds into real life. It definitely has implication in real life. I don't know about TikTok. I don't know about TikTok dances. But even if you think about TikTok dances, still, you're getting better at your dances. So it definitely has real life implications. And remember, like, even if you create a blog post, you can create one. You can have the material. And then if you don't like posting for a month, that's fine. You may not have your craft for a month, but then you might have it the next month. And then you can, obviously write something out there, and then you can still improve. So there are ways to work around it. First, we need to have some sort of online presence. I know that I would really appreciate it if my friends had more online presence than they do, because some of them know about football, and I don't know a shit about football. If they could hop on a website and talk about football a little bit from their perspective, and since I know them in personal life, that makes the blog post so much more interesting, right? I appreciate the blog post so much more better, and I know the person behind it who is typing. And if you don't like your real name out there, you can use a fake name. You don't even have to put your face out there. It's like, it can be so anonymous. So anonymous. No one has to know. You just have to create this craft. And again, I encourage people to write blog posts and stuff. If someone doesn't know where to start, I have this website called medium.com. It's a free website where it's so much easier to create like a blog post. Medium.com. I'll leave the link in the show notes. You can access it from there as well. I'll also leave a link of a video where someone talks about how much people can make writing blogs on Medium. It's free to use. You have to pay to read other people's article, but if you're writing an article, you don't have to pay, which is kind of crazy. You can create your stuff for free, and then you can also get paid for it. You can monetize your blog post. Like, you can talk about anything, put it out there, and then monetize it, and then you'll start earning. But if you're interested in that, and definitely there's the money factor as well. So I'll leave the links to all the things that I talked about. And then, yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully I can convince Pragyan to be on the next podcast. If not, I'll probably have some guests. That's it for the podcast. Thank you for listening. My Instagram is as Prozis33. I don't know, who cares, but just putting it out there. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.